All right. I'm gonna try and make this as pumped up as I can
You can do it.
without messing up like a whole bunch of times.
What was that?
'Cause I'm
The first
super tired.
episode. What was that thing that you said?
Horses.
Right.
One of your
Right.
horses.
I'm one of your horses. You should just come
Oh,
in one day with one of those horse masks on.
oh God, I think that would scare me. Like it would scare myself. Having to put that on my face.
Uh,
Just freak me out.
uh,
Alrighty, here goes.
here goes indeed.
Sitting atop the watchtower in Gotham City, the Nerdy Knights are here to bring you some great comic book content. I'm one of your hosts. Some say I'm an oracle, but everyone can say that they've never seen me and Batgirl in the same room together at the same time. My name is Amanda Kane, and he comes in like a flash of lightning with his quick wit and dashing good looks. Sitting alongside me here is Ben Riddick.
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
And we want to welcome you to our third issue of Nightly Novels.
Holy crap,
And
it's been 3 issues already.
I know I'm so excited. We're basically probably like your comic book club. Yeah, that's
Comic
a
book club. Yeah, I
comic
like that.
book club.
I've just been calling it comic book club.
Um, and for those of you who are turning in, yeah, turning
Turning
in.
in.
I'm gonna be turning in
Horses,
bed at
you're
the end of
going
this.
to be one of our horses, and everyone's turning in.
Yep. Tuning in for the first time. Just a little bit about what we do. Each week we choose a random comic book story arc to read and then discuss on the show. And that means that there's going to be spoilers for the book every time.
What? Spoiler alert.
And generally we start off with a comic book summary, so let's do that.
And I think that has somehow become my job. Each week I've been giving you the comic book summary.
Yeah, kind of like the weather.
Yep.
And here's
And to Ben.
that's the
So,
weather.
this week we read Lost at Sea by Brian Lee O'Malley, the author of um, Scott Pilgrim, which is one of my favorite books for sure. What I love about Brian Lee O'Malley's work is he does the art and he writes the book itself. So it's all of his books are just completely him, which is fantastic. I love it. And Lost at Sea is kind of like it's a coming of age story. There's this really shy girl in it. Her name is Rayleigh, and she believes that her soul was stolen by a cat. Yeah. Oh, cool. I like that cover. If you guys, I'm gonna switch to comic book view so everyone can see the cover that I have. That's what I see. And the book is very, very interesting. Rayleigh is essentially on a road trip from California where she was visiting her father and her boyfriend Stillman. Back home, she's on her way back home to Vancouver, I believe is somewhere in Canada. I mean, it's not that big, so if it's Vancouver or like Ottawa, it's really close together. Um, FYI, I know that's not true. Um,
Just kidding.
yeah, and she's with fellow high school students Stephanie, Dave, and Ian, who she kind of meets by accident. She like missed her train, and Stephanie takes like Ian's phone or something like that, and accidentally calls Rayleigh and says, "Hey, join us on this road trip," and so she's there. During the trip, she kind of goes through. Essentially, the entire book is on ADHD or on ADHD. Has ADHD.
I was like, how do you be on
You are on
ADHD?
ADHD.
Sounds like a
um,
TV station.
um, so the book has ADHD. It kind of goes back and forth. There are flashbacks because she's kind of the book is her thought process. She muses about her relationship with this Stillman guy who she met on the internet, and she like the big thing of the story is um, she muses on her belief that she has no friends because when she was 14 and her parents got divorced, her mother sold Rayleigh's soul to Satan in exchange for career success, because now her all of a sudden her mom became incredibly successful and all that, and she thinks that her soul was placed in the body of a cat. That's right, everyone, the body of a cat, because that is what makes sense. Um, increasing her already great existential confusion is the bizarre emergence of a series of cats. Like everywhere, she's just seeing cats, and they're coming up to her, and she's dreaming of millions of cats and being chased by cats and all of that. And in her confusion and curiosity, Rayleigh, with the help of these acquaintances that she's made, attempts to catch some of these cats to try to get her soul back. And it's an interesting story because essentially she talks about how she has no friends, and she makes these friends by going out and trying to catch these cats. And that's really it. That's the story. Did I miss anything super important that you think I should add in there?
No, I think we're gonna probably cover the
The
deeper
finer
meaning.
points? Absolutely. So, Amanda, you had read this book before.
Yes.
I had not.
Yeah.
So,
So I got a text that said, "What the fuck am I reading right
no,
now?"
it wasn't even that. So here's what happened. I was really tired last night, and I was like, you know what? It's 9 o'clock. I'm gonna stop playing video games because there's nothing I really want to play. Oh, and I have this comic book that I have to read, so I might as well start reading this comic book. So I lay in bed, and I just, like, it was very, very interesting. I was just reading and reading, and the more I read, the more I kept thinking, I've got to be skipping pages here, right? Like, there is no way in hell that that I am understanding this, because it's like it's going back and forth, and I just I'm having a hard time following it. And then I finish reading it. I'm like, you know what? Hopefully, I'm going to go to bed. Hopefully, this will make sense by the time I wake up. And that's when I texted you. That's kind of uh, what was going on. It was what the hell is happening? Because you know,
So, most importantly, did you dream about cats
no,
or the word no?
I did not dream about cats. Thankfully, thankfully there were no dreams of cats.
Ben Riddick has a soul, everybody.
Yep, true story. Oh my god, this computer is trying to ruin the show. The computer's
No,
trying to take over the show. Everyone.
the computer has no soul.
Yeah.
Or maybe it does have a soul.
Stupid computer. Piece of crap. um, so it was a neat book. After I kind of thought about it, I think the big thing for me is I didn't have that much to relate to it because I'm not a shy person. Like that's not me. So
Right.
I'm reading this book. I'm like, what the hell is this girl's problem?
I don't understand.
I don't get
Just
it.
go out and talk to people. God.
It's like, God damn it, just talk to him. Why are you so quiet? Um, so yeah, that was kind of the interesting thing about the book. But yeah, I think it is a really it's a good story for people who I think would need that kind of story. I mean, essentially, it's a really good. I don't even know how to say what I'm trying to say.
It's kind
Um,
of like a breaking free kind of story, I
yeah,
think. For people that suffer from
any
like
kind
being
of anxiety.
extremely introverted or yeah, really anything, like any kind of struggle. I mean, obviously I don't imagine that a bunch of people run around thinking like, "Oh my God, my mom sold my soul to a cat for her career," but like, and chasing cats, but it's just the whole feeling of being like completely alone and like isolated. And I think one of my favorite things is the fact that Brian Lee O'Malley, whenever there's a thought process going on through Rayleigh's head, it's so sporadic, and that's something that everyone goes through. Like, even if you're not thinking about like how lonely you are, or how afraid of everything you are, but it's just like your head is going in a million different directions at one time. And the like you're constantly like there's a whole page where she just like repeats this like question. I can't remember what it is, like what the fuck am I doing here or something like that over and over and over again.
Right.
And like your brain is just so scattered sometimes that it's difficult to piece everything together. And I feel like that really he still is really able to capture that, and he doesn't lose that sense of character, I guess, and that coming of age feeling that even if some people don't suffer from this, it's something that like our brain that's how our brain works, I guess. It's just so crazy sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, and I think for I think he captures the mind of a teenager in a very interesting way in general. Um, I mean, because especially for I'm going to stereotype here. Obviously, the stereotype is not 100% accurate because, I am a comic book reader. But I just imagine a lot of people who are really into reading comics are probably, I don't want to say social outcasts, but they're not going, they might be the more quiet type. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Am I completely insulting everybody right now?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't feel insulted, but
It's
I
the
don't
internet. I'm sure I'm insulting someone.
just everyone just like stops listening. We become this like huge Reddit like thread about how
Oh
Ben
God.
Riddick insulted all the comic book readers ever.
I'm I'm gonna be the next Jimmy Kimmel, except I'm
But
insulting comic book readers.
there is a sense of I don't know how to put like I don't know how to help you here without making it get worse.
So, but
But
here's the thing. I think this is it's a good manual to say, you know what, just be yourself. I mean, eventually, what ends up happening with Rayleigh is like she's going through these like anxiety attacks in the car with these people that she barely knows, and she's like mentally saying to herself, "No, I can't tell them about this. They're going to think I'm crazy." Until eventually, she opens up, and I think that's something that's an important story hook in the book itself. It's very important to open up. If you're feeling any kind of anxiety with people that you're around, even if like these were people that she was stuck with, kind of for what she wanted to do. She wanted to get home, but I mean, it's telling people to open up to the people they care about, and I think it's a really good message that the book is sending. And I think Brian Lee O'Malley did a very interesting job in order to kind of send that message and still make a decent, a good book that still has quite a bit of humor in it. It's a fun book to read, but he translates it well. Is what I'm trying to say. I am all over the freaking place on this book.
just like all of her thought processes.
Yeah, essentially.
But like the thing is too that you notice is, you know, Rayleigh has her own kind of crazy and like her own kind of, I guess, struggle in a way. But you also see like, okay, yeah, so maybe I see cats and I think cats like my soul is in a cat somewhere
Mhm.
is a little weird. But like when she finally, as she's going through this process with these people, she sees the crazy that other people have as well. Like, I mean, in one of the scenes, Stephanie is like just jumping on the bed. Like,
Yeah.
how many like just you walk into a hotel room and grown sober adults are just like, yeah, let's jump all over this bed, or I guess young
Grown,
adults,
sober adults.
young adults
They're like 18 years old.
are just like, yeah, I'm just gonna jump all over this bed, or um just and so you see like that kind of almost like immaturity level that's buried beneath, or I guess like beneath her skin or inside her. And then you have um Dave, the guy that they throughout the whole story kind of hint on how this girl like really screwed him up,
Yeah.
but you don't ever really until you hit the end, like you don't know her name, but you see he's kind of in his own little hell, I guess, in a way, because he's kind of like the standoffish character of the group and always like swearing and smoking and all of that stuff. So like you see, and like Ian is like crazy, like just weird and like whacked out. But like so she's worried about all of these people figuring out and discovering this weird side of her that she's like created in her mind. But when in reality, like when she admits it, Stephanie is like, yeah, that might be a little insane, but let's go help you find your cat. Like it's, and that's like a social acceptance for people. It's almost like, be who you are, and not everyone is going to accept you socially, but you are going to find those people that are going through their own
Their own shit.
little crazy. Yeah.
I mean,
And
everyone has
make
baggage,
friends.
essentially.
Right. And you you'll find the right people. It just might not necessarily be easy. And for me, like I guess in a way this kind of it kind of affected me because her relationship with her best friend Sam, like the way she would describe Sam, she was like, "Oh, Sam was passionate and outgoing and she'd love to run and I could never catch up, and but eventually I would, and she'd wait for me and she'd accept me." And so when I was growing up, um my best friend is very very much like Rayleigh. Um and she kind of views me the way that Rayleigh viewed Sam, as more of like a outgoing and persistent and passionate person, and that's what I am, but she feels that she can't be that way, and she's very introverted in that sense. And in a way, though, there's a side of me that she doesn't see. There's a part of Riley that's inside of me too, where I'm sometimes scared, and I'm not afraid of everything, but there's that fear that almost like everybody else has. So I guess like the relationship between Riley and Sam was really touching for me, because that was something that I went through, and I still kind of go through. Like my one of my best friends still views me as like this crazy amazing person, and it's like I have the in like things and characteristics that she wants, like characteristics I have, and I'm just like, you can do all of these things, because it took me a while to break out of and bloom into the person that you're seeing now. And don't live your life in my shadow. Like do these things for yourself, because I have those fears too. I just at some point you have to overcome them. So I guess for me that's sort of where I view the story. I guess it was a little more personal than the world probably wanted to
Well,
know.
well, no, but I mean that's the thing about this book in particular is it does bring out these very specific things that happen in your own life. I mean, again, the like you were saying, the relationship between Sam and Rayleigh is is one that kind of stuck with me as well, but for a very different reason. Because as a kid growing up, I moved around a lot. I'm 26 years old, and I've moved a grand total of 27 times in my life.
Holy crap.
So I've moved a lot, um, and one of the things that that kind of connected with me with this book is that you either move on from it and you kind of pick yourself up, or you become kind of like Rayleigh. It's like you lose that familiarity that you're around, and you're just like, okay, well, I'm gonna kind of give up, even though Rayleigh wasn't the one that moved. um, it was still that thing, but then having her go down to California and meet with her father and this boyfriend that she met over the internet, it kind of, she didn't see it this way, but it showed a bravery that was kind of uh, that built upon itself and allowed her to kind of be more herself. And that's kind of how you gotta move on from big life events in general, whether it's a move or really anything. I feel like this book is a very good uh, analog for any big life changing event. Um, no matter what it is, it's like it's letting you know you're not alone. A and B, whatever it is that's happening, just continue to be you. You do you. You do you.
You do you.
Um, so I think again, it's the message of the book that is great. Um, I will say you can definitely tell that it was Brian Lee O'Malley's first book, um, because it it wasn't as strong for me as that other book that I mentioned earlier, Scott Pilgrim. That was the one.
As I say, your love of Scott Pilgrim.
There we go. I was really working hard on that one, and it was not working. Um, but I don't know. I feel like this one. The thing that bothered me really about the book is that the character development in it was kind of, it was very vague, um, and I had a really hard time following it when I first read it, as was justified by the text message that I sent you saying, "The fuck did I just read?" Um, so it's I don't I don't know, Amanda. I was not a huge fan of it. I know you really like it. I I think I didn't connect with any of the characters because none of the characters were really there all the time, and it was bouncing around so much that I could barely connect with Rayleigh except for that one moment with Rayleigh and Sam. Um, and I would literally go from one panel to another thinking, okay, how did it go from this
What
panel to this
happened?
panel? What happened? Did the book I get is just missing panels? Is it missing pages? I don't understand.
Message Amazon. I think I need my money back. I think I'm
Well,
missing some pages in this book.
somehow the digital version of this book you sent me is missing pages. Did you send me a used digital version? Because I can't find what is going on right now. Um, I mean, another thing that I did like about it though was I love Brian Lee O'Malley's art. Like,
Yes.
I could just look at that art all of the time.
That's one of my favorite things about him is he sticks with like he always has very, very pretty much like similar artwork in everything that he does. And I love his like I'm gonna do like three colors. and that's
Yeah.
it.
No, I think
Colors.
that's great. Um, and after reading this one and how much I love Scott Pilgrim, I did have to make sure that Seconds was on our list, and it was. So I'm
Yes,
glad.
I put it there. Yeah.
Um, because I think that's the only now that is only one of the only ones that I haven't read of his, or the only one that I haven't read because I think he's only done Lost at Sea, Scott Pilgrim, and Seconds.
Yes, which I actually think I like Seconds more. And I personally think that you probably like Seconds more because even though like it's Brian Lee O'Malley, so shit just gets weird.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
there's significantly more character development. Like I feel like this one was, yes, this is my I'm trying to connect with everyone kind of story, so there wasn't as much character development
Hmm.
because he kind of wanted you to think about it. Whereas with Seconds, there's definitely a deeper and more intense meaning, but there is like two, I think it's two characters that you actually like really like he develops and
Yeah.
connects with one specifically. But
And I think I probably would have enjoyed this one more if it were longer. Like if he had taken more time to show like just what the hell was going on.
just just what the
just
heck?
just tell me what's happening. Please. Please, please, please. Um like I don't know what I usually like the main things that I look for are character development, good appealing artwork, and a coherent story. And I feel like this one only had one of the three.
Good, appealing artwork.
Yes, I loved the artwork. I love Brian Lee O'Malley's artwork, um, but I do still think that the book has its place. Like I do think if you are someone that has some kind of issue with any kind of anxiety, read this book. I think you will connect with it a lot more than I will, and I think that it might do more for you than it did for me. What do you think, Amanda?
No, I agree. I definitely agree. I I mean, I personally suffer from anxiety, so I guess that in a way helped the connection and again the fact that like my best friend and I growing up like lived through like Sam and Rayleigh's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of hit home for me. But I definitely agree with you in the fact that if you're someone who has anxiety, you should definitely read this book.
Yeah,
You'll probably see something different than both what Ben and I see too. So
absolutely. Um, and all in all, I think I don't know. You know what? I'm trying to think
okay.
about what my favorite part of the book was. The end. When I didn't have to
When
read it
it ended
anymore.
and I didn't have to read it anymore.
No, that's not fair. I that's also not true at all. Not even in the slightest. Um, I did enjoy pretty much any interaction that Rayleigh had with Stephanie, which was the other girl in the car. Because I feel like Stephanie was kind of that person that helped break Rayleigh out of her shell. And like everyone kind of has that point, but I think I enjoyed that. What I didn't get is first off this character who is supposed to be incredibly introverted meets a random guy on the internet.
The most introverted way to meet someone
Well, yeah,
behind a computer screen.
and then goes all the way to California to meet him. You have no idea what happens with the relationship. Um,
Aside from the fact that it was really good.
yeah,
And obviously they held hands and kissed
yeah,
and
and
cuddled.
but that was it. Now all of a sudden it's just not going on anymore. I don't even know. Um, and then why would anyone like extrovert or not, get a random phone call from people they barely know and say, uh, "Hey, we're going back up to Ottawa. Do you want to just ride with us?" It's like that sounds like the beginning of a freaking horror film.
I want to know how exactly this random phone call played out. Like, how did, obviously we know it was an accident. Like, she
Right.
accidentally called, but it was like, yeah, we're all here. Do you want to just ride back with us? Like, how do you know that she's there? And how do you know,
I'm sure the
like,
conversation had to go somewhere like, "Oh,
I
where
don't
are
know if
you?
I
We're heading
randomly
back
call
to Ottawa."
somebody.
Well, to be fair, they did have an entire scene where they show Stephanie grabbing Ian's phone or someone's phone, and she accidentally calls somebody else.
Yeah,
But
I don't know. Just, I don't know. Maybe she just called someone, was like, hey, who's this? And just started tagging them up. Be like, oh, yeah, this is where I am. Oh, you're here too. That's weird. You want to ride?
that is
Like,
not someone I want to be friends with, Amanda. I do not want to be friends with that
and
person.
I don't know. Just like when some people call me and they're just like, if I don't recognize the number or whatever. Because, I mean, what, did Riley keep Ian's number in her phone too? Like,
Probably not.
so, what are you doing? Who the hell is this? Like, that would be my
Although
response.
to be fair, this book was written in 2002. Maybe picking up the phone was a lot different back then.
Yeah.
I personally don't remember.
I don't remember. Did I have a cell phone in
I
2002?
have no idea.
I think so.
I don't what grade are you in when you're 13? Oh, I had a cell phone in 2002. Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, what grade were you in 2002?
I don't
Eight. I was in
8th?
eighth grade, right? Yeah, I had a cell phone. Okay. I'm like, what grade was I in? I don't even know. I was in either first, yeah, first,
First
seventh,
grade. You were in first
se-
grade. Oh
can't remember if
god.
I was in seventh or eighth grade. Um,
Uh,
yeah, I definitely had a cell phone by then. Okay.
yeah.
All right, I guess this makes sense. Sort of. But
um
still.
yeah. Uh yeah, I mean, it was an interesting book. I feel like should we just go in what was your favorite part of the book, Amanda?
Um, Probably the development between Stephanie and Riley, the
Your
or
book looks
Samantha.
so thick for how long it took me to read the book. I feel like there might have actually been pages missing.
I don't think that they're like, oh, wait, you mean mine?
Yeah, it's really thick.
Well, so I have the 10-year anniversary edition. That's why
Okay.
my cover's different than everybody else's. And
Mine only
the
has 20.
last, like, from like this section here is all like special feature stuff.
That's a
So,
tiny little section, though. Okay.
yeah, it's like
Maybe I've just forgotten what holding a real comic book is like because I read everything
what
digitally.
does it feel like?
What?
I mean, it's 163 pages.
Yeah, okay. So mine was 168 in the digital version. So,
Yeah.
all right.
This
Um,
is this is what a real book feels like, man.
Alrighty. Um,
All right, so you want to get into ratings?
let's get into ratings. Yeah, did I go first last time? I feel like I went first last time. You should go first this time.
Yeah, I think that's true. That's accurate. All right, so with my ratings, I always discuss my pros and cons at the same time.
Hmm?
Um, Pros for me, um, I was actually satisfied with how empty the characters, not empty, but
How empty.
how empty the
How
characters were.
soulless these
How
characters were.
how very little, no, they were developed, I guess, in a sense that I felt that there was more of a connection for those people who are introverted or know someone who's introverted or suffers from anxiety. So for me, that was a pro. Obviously, the art style. I love Brian Lee O'Malley's art style and the fact that he sticks with just the couple colors.
Hmm.
Um, and the third pro is probably the like sporadic thinking that we talked about in the beginning. I really felt like that. If anything in this book is going to capture the feeling of this book, it was just like the crazy thought process that she was going through at the time.
Right.
Um, Cons for me, I didn't really understand the point of the cats. I mean, I guess it doesn't really.
A
I guess it
giant
doesn't.
portion of the story you don't
Yeah, I
understand.
don't understand the giant cat portion, but maybe that's because there's my level of crazy only extends so far. Um, so I just felt like that there was a little
Oh
bit of a disconnect there. Um,
man.
I I agree with you. I think that I would have been happier with just a little bit more in terms of pages and some kind of end.
Story. Yeah, and a defined end would have been nice
Yeah,
too.
a defined ending. And then the last one I just had, and I can't remember what it was now. I don't remember what the last con was. I just had it and I forgot it. Just gone. So all in all, for me, especially with the fact that I'm moving across country right now, and this is sort of close to home currently,
Hmm.
I would probably give this book a 6
A
out of
6.
10. Yep.
Okay. Well, I guess we won't argue too much.
We never like we always come to some like happy
I know. I
medium.
wish. I wish we would argue more. You know. I feel like this would be more fun. Damn you for being so agreeable. So for me, the pros of the book are I do believe that this is a great book for people to kind of help themselves. You know, if you're going through something, read this book. It should help you get through it. Essentially, is what I'm kind of getting at. Um, the other pro is Brian Lee O'Malley's art. Again, I cannot compliment his art enough. I love the artwork that Brian Lee O'Malley does. I love the very monochromatic palette that he uses, um, and I greatly enjoyed the last scene where they're going and chasing all these cats
Yeah,
because
that was pretty
all I'm thinking through that entire process is these are a bunch of feral cats. These people are gonna get like the worst kinds of bites and scratches and whatever. It's their funeral.
I love how you're thinking about it negatively. Like, these are feral cats. All these characters are gonna die. Like, let's be honest here.
Well, what other way is there to think of this?
It's
She's
not
gonna
like,
find her
yay, this is
soul.
humorous. They're chasing cats. You're just like, they're dead.
Well,
These cats probably aren't even real.
they're probably not. Um, it's not even based on a true story. Um, but the cons again, I don't connect with the characters. I don't. There's not enough of a coherent story that I enjoy when I read a comic, and there's just it's kind of a meh blah setting as well. It's like oh, we're in the car.
Yeah, we're in the car.
We want to go to Wendy's, but there's no Wendy's.
So
So
we're gonna go to Stu's.
Stu's Diner, where everyone says y'all. Um, so I personally would give the book, and it's essentially the only reason that I don't go any lower is because of Brian Lee O'Malley's art, a 4 out of 10.
So it's
Um,
not too much of an argument.
no, um, I I was thinking you were probably going to rate it higher, but you know, a 2 point difference doesn't seem all that bad.
No. I think, however, when we progress more in the show,
Hmm.
you're gonna see that a lot of my stuff is kind of like a lot of stuff that I've thrown on. Obviously, well, without getting throwing out any titles, we
Going into
have
our
like
list.
our classic stuff that we both agreed on in terms of reading that came up on the list multiple times. But like you'll see a couple of my suggestions are sort of more about I don't know. I feel like we're gonna run into this again. There are a couple that I can think of off the top of my head where we're gonna run into this again, where you might not be terribly convinced on character development. So we'll see. This is good though. This
Yeah,
is good.
no, I'm it does keep me interested to read some of the other stuff that you put onto the list. I mean, this doesn't turn me off to the things that you like to read in any way, shape, or form. It's just definitely going to be different, I think, and that's what I like about our list is it's a very diverse list, in my opinion. Speaking of
So
our list,
yeah, I was gonna say, so should well, we have to decide what are we doing? Are we gonna pick something? And because I'm gonna be in the car next Thursday. So unless
which
I'm
is
podcasting from the car.
which is actually okay because let me double check. I think I'm working next Thursday until 6. Um, when are you not in the car?
So I will probably be in the car from like Tuesday to
Oh my God, I work
Saturday-ish.
at 8:30 tomorrow morning. I'm really
Ay.
glad I looked at my schedule. Holy shit, I didn't know that. I don't want to go into work at 8:30.
So that kind of puts us at a weird place because I know after that you're gonna be getting ready to go.
Yeah. Why you said you're going to be from when until when? Sorry, I know you
Like
just told me.
Tuesday until Saturday-ish.
Okay.
I mean,
Um,
depending on when and where we end up when we get there and where we are,
mhm.
we could potentially do the next one on a different day, but together. Because I probably won't have internet.
Oh, in the same place, you mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
Amanda, we always do these shows together.
No, actually, this is fake me. The other me is like passed out on the couch still. I sent my twin to do this.
Yeah, why don't we plan for that? So you guys, you have some time. Whatever the book is, you have time. Pay attention to Amanda and my Twitter. Um, Amanda's at Wake Up Paramore. I'm at Be Ridiculous. As soon as we have a time nailed down, we will set that time and send it out to you guys. Does that sound reasonable, Amanda?
Yeah, seems good to me.
Okay. Um, because actually, ideally, even we could probably still get the show out on the normal day that it goes on iTunes, which is Monday. Possibly. Depending on how crazy your schedule is. All right. Shall we choose our next book?
Let's do it.
Remember, this book selection is brought to you by Amazon Echo. Alexa, choose a random number between 1 and 77.
Did our list
The
get there?
random number between 1 and 77 is 26.
26. What is 26? All Star Superman. This is our
One that I
first
don't own.
one that you don't own.
Nope.
If it makes you feel any better, neither do I. I put this book on the list because I was looking at a list of Superman book stories that people say are really, really good. And this is one of the ones that came up because Superman doesn't really interest me that much.
Yay!
Yeah.